Good evening, this is the Oscar expert here with Brother Bro, and it's time for Golden Globe predictions. Award season is going to really kick off on the 12th, which is a Monday, when these are announced. Before heading into the predictions, there are a few things we have to acknowledge. Number one, they added 100 new members. The Golden Globes only have like 100 members, so they literally doubled it, and they doubled it with international voters. Most of the HFPA are like international people who are like based in LA, but they added this new voting group to diversify their voting body. So they have 100 new voters who are international. They're all around the world. They're not in America. Will this affect the nominations? Obviously. But how are we supposed to know how it's going to affect the nominations? Well, we could probably say like, well, maybe they're international. Maybe they have higher brow taste. We don't know. We're mostly going to go off of like typical Globes logic.
I don't think it's going to impact it that much.
They doubled the voting body. I don't know how that doesn't impact it. I mean, at the end of the day, they're being campaigned to by like the same studios. Also, the funny business that goes on in the HFPA doesn't really apply to these voters, and probably not so much this year.
So there's not going to be any like random Ridley Scott director nominations?
Well, there could be. It just wouldn't be due to any like bribery or like expensive event that they're throwing. The other thing is that we're predicting this on the 8th. There are going to be some more critics groups and like the AFI top 10 that come out between now and the Golden Globes. I don't know if they should affect our predictions, but like if RRR did like exceedingly well in like one LA Film Critics or something, would that make me think that it could get more categories here? Maybe. But these are going to be pretty close to final predictions. And this video is sponsored by Surfshark. No! Oh my god. Christmas is coming up so fast and I have no clue what I'm going to get my girlfriend.
Well, why not get her jewelry or a new bike?
No, that's just the same old junk. I really want it to be special this time. Show her how much I care.
So, what does she like?
Well, she likes streaming her favorite shows, and she loves keeping her online data secure.
I know just the thing. Surfshark VPN. With Surfshark, you can change your online location to one of thousands of servers around the world, meaning you can access different streaming libraries from streamers like Netflix and Hulu, more than doubling the amount of content you have access to.
Well, hold on. The last thing I want is for her to spend Christmas behind bars. This sounds illegal.
You don't have to worry, friend. It's perfectly legal. The only place she's going to be on Christmas is on your couch watching her favorite geo-blocked movies with you.
Well, that sounds great and all, but does it keep my data secure when using public Wi-Fi by encrypting the information sent between my device and the internet?
Yep.
Wow, sounds like she's going to love it. Hopefully she'll get me Surfshark so I can have it too.
Well, you are in luck. One subscription allows for unlimited devices. Plus, if you use my discount code, you'll get 85% off, plus 3 months free. And you can cancel anytime within the first 30 days.
This is going to be the best Christmas ever.
And it's all thanks to Surfshark. Thank you.
For Drama Picture, we got The Fabelmans out front, kind of just default. I do think Top Gun Maverick's a threat, though. I did almost consider having that at number 1.
Yeah, I think Top Gun Maverick could also like pull off a weird win here. I mean, Top Gun is just overperforming so far with like just not missing any beats in the categories people expect, and then getting a little bit more. Like winning cinematography at Critics Circles.
You mean at everywhere so far? At everywhere so far?
Like it's just not missing anybody's top 10.
Women Talking and Tar I believe in for the drama nomination.
Yeah.
Women Talking has a lot of potential for screenplay director and like 3 acting categories and score, and Tar will definitely get like Blanchett, very possibly like screenplay director as well. Some people find these two to be somewhat exchangeable. I think they're pretty solid. Usually the Globes just go for whatever is like a big Oscar movie, and this top 5, these are like the big Oscar movies. Now Elvis, something very peculiar has happened in the last 2 weeks where there was like this drum up going on where it felt like shit. Maybe it really is Elvis. And it seems to be kind of coming true. Like we're seeing Elvis do pretty well with the very few first precursors. Like it's getting enough nominations to make me think, okay, it's definitely like there. It's definitely a presence.
And at the same exact time, we have nearly complete silence from The Whale, which is coming out this weekend in limited release.
Yeah, A24 seems to be putting all their might behind Everything Everywhere.
I think they'll be more proactive once it comes out.
Because, like, why would you sit in the shadows while Brendan Fraser is trying to win his Oscar? Like, they probably know they could win him an Oscar if they try.
Well, they're not doing the best
and they
job
probably
right now.
know that they need to get the movie into Best Picture in order to win him an Oscar.
Well, I don't know if they're going to pull that off anymore because the poster sucks. The trailer is like 3 shots.
Yeah.
And
I don't know what
just
they're
don't
doing.
know what they're doing. Yeah, it doesn't feel like they're giving it the push that it needs. So we're going to have to see. I'm a little worried about The Whale right now, honestly. And I wouldn't have put in Elvis just because it's a Golden Globes thing unless I truly believed that it is a bigger contender than The Whale, and I do truly believe that now.
I think Elvis appeals to a lot of people. Kudos to those of you who've been predicting Elvis since it came out. You get a little round of applause because you deserve it, and we weren't doing that. Really dismissed it right off the bat, but here we are.
This is also like the default 5 for most people. It's the Gold Derby 5. Just popping in here to make an amendment to this video. There's going to be a few amendments because I've been stirring over these predictions for the past day. We've also had AFI Top 10 come out. Initially, I was concerned that Avatar: The Way of Water maybe didn't get their movie out to all their voters. Like, sure, they have the HFPA in Hollywood and in LA that they can easily screen it to, but there was one report that a voter in another country didn't get the opportunity to see Avatar, so a lot of people were concerned about it. So what I decided to do about Avatar is to not go for it in picture, not quite go there, but in director, I think I may be doing that. And also, Avatar has not been having any issues whatsoever getting nominations places. Like, I think the studio knows how to ensure that everybody sees the movie. You got Woman King on the outside. A lot of people weirdly think that the Woman King might happen at the Golden Globes. Like, I get it, but like, I don't know why it would happen, like, over these bigger contenders who everybody's predicting for the Oscar, and the Woman King we're not really predicting for the Oscar. In fact, the last movie that got nominated for the Globe that wouldn't have shown up in Oscar's Best Picture in a lineup of 10 is Rush in 2013. So if you think the Woman King's getting the Golden Globe, you should say that you think it's getting the Oscar. But
Well, I think
don't
some
really
people think that it's getting the Oscar.
and it could, but I don't think it's more likely than the other movies in the 5. Like, that's how I think
Yeah.
that this category should be approached.
I think most people are going to have this 5. I'm hoping to be, surprised because I like Screaming. And, maybe it'll be 4 out of 5, but I think it's definitely going to be 4 out of 5 of these. Are there any others that have a chance? Like, maybe Till. I wouldn't say it's impossible. And then She Said, could that do well here, like, randomly?
She Said's not really doing anything at anywhere so far, except for like a little bit adapted screenplay.
That's what I'm saying. It's just a hard movie to be really passionate about.
It also flopped harder than a fish at the box office.
Wow.
Fish out of water.
Well, fish can flop in the water. It's just called swimming.
They typically don't choose not to. Living would be like a fuck nomination.
We're not going there.
Drama actor Austin Butler above Brendan
Damn.
Fraser. Okay, listen to me, buddy. If The Whale underperforms and gets like only Brendan Fraser and like, well, I mean,
I
maybe Hong
understand.
Chow.
He won't be the front runner. I understand. Yeah, if The Whale underperforms and Elvis performs nicely, Austin Butler could win that award. I'm kind of looking around like, I want to know where The Whale is. Where is The Whale? It's supposed to be big. It's supposed to be seeable to the naked eye. Brendan Fraser is supposed to have this gargantuan performance, getting applauses at film festivals. Like, what happened? Did it peak early? Like, is he not campaigning? What's
It's
going
also
on?
divisive.
But even among the people who don't like it, they seem to like Brendan Fraser's performance. And I didn't think
Yeah.
Austin Butler was like that strong that he's going to start winning awards.
Well, think about it, Justin. Austin Butler plays Elvis. And he
I agree.
committed like as hard as anybody has ever committed to a performance to do it.
I feel like the Whale is sinking. I was going to say the Whale ship is sinking, but actually no, I'm just standing on top of the Whale and the Whale is sinking. The Whale's going
Whales
back
don't
underwater.
need boats because they kind of are boats.
Its blowhole is above water and you can barely see it splashing. I don't know what happened to the rest of the beast. And I don't know what reality I'm living in where Brendan Fraser actually might not win the Oscar. Like, that's not the movie I saw. That was an Oscar-winning performance.
And then we have Tom Cruise for Top Gun Maverick. I absolutely do not buy the thing where, like, because Tom Cruise returned his Golden Globes in protest of the Golden Globes and their behavior, that they'll be like, fuck you, Tom Cruise. You don't respect this institution. Because right now they're in apology mode. They're trying to reform in the way that Tom Cruise's protest was in favor of. So why would they not nominate him if he's doing the thing that they are trying to?
Yeah, they're
present
like,
that
yes,
doing?
Tom Cruise, please help me be better, please.
Also, you're telling me you're looking at like
this category and you're saying there's not room for Tom Cruise? Like, are you kidding me? I don't even understand anything below number 5. Bill Nighy in Living, I think that's going to happen. And Hugh Jackman in The Sun. These are both Sony Pictures Classics movies, and we're only predicting them for these particular nominations. I'm hesitant to predict Hugh Jackman in The Sun, but the thing is, like, who else? Will Smith, you know, people who see the movie say maybe he would definitely be in the conversation. Were he not a slap disgrace?
I don't know if the Golden Globes care or they're just trying to avoid controversy, but
I think everybody
I'll just say for the record, like, he made a mistake. He apologized for it. If he's good in the movie, nominate him. That's what I think. If the crime were worse, maybe I wouldn't say that, but, you know, it was just so sensational. I've never seen anything that sensational in my life, so maybe they just want to avoid controversy. But also, like, Emancipation's not that acclaimed.
I just don't know who else. Like, sometimes the Golden Globes will reach down and pick somebody who it's like, oh yeah, we could nominate them. So I went on Gold Derby and I was like, all right, who is it? Who is it? Who's like the Jake Gyllenhaal? Who is the Viggo Mortensen in Captain Fantastic?
Jake Gyllenhaal in what?
In Nightcrawler, because people didn't think that was a thing at the time.
No.
But I couldn't find it. Gabriel LaBelle, The Fablemans, none of it feels right to me, so I have to go with Hugh Jackman.
If you're gonna dig deep, I feel like Jeremy Pope is kind of on the sidelines being like, hi, I'm here.
I totally don't agree.
I'm not saying he's going to get nominated. I'm saying he's like there.
I don't think he's that there because what priority is this in A24's like movies this year?
I'm fine with you saying
the
that.
movie did not make a splash. The only people who know about it are like people who are, you know, like us. And it's a good movie and he's really good in it. He would deserve a nomination. It's just like, you know, a thing that I don't think is going to happen. I don't think Paul Mescal is going to happen either.
No. Gabriel LaBelle, I could see him filling in a fifth slot if they don't want to nominate Hugh Jackman, though. He is really good. Like, he is as good as anybody in the cast.
I feel like he's Jude Hill for Belfast. Drama actress, Cate Blanchett for Tar. That's, like, just going to happen. Daniel Deadweiler for Till, definitely happening. She could win this. I could see that maybe happening. Michelle Williams for Fablemans, that will happen. Viola Davis for The Woman King. That makes a lot of sense, especially since you have some contenders over there in that comedy musical category. You put Viola Davis in there. She's a big star. She's a Globes fave.
There's definitely room for Olivia Colman to get snubbed because no one cares about Empire of Light.
Yeah, but
for a movie that people like more.
I will point out though that we thought Olivia Colman wasn't getting nominated for The Lost Daughter here last year. We were wrong.
Whatever. I mean,
Olivia
she got
Colman's
nominated
big.
everywhere.
Yeah, but
she's not going to get nominated everywhere for this movie.
I can see Jennifer Lawrence in Causeway in a weird way.
I can't.
Only because
I honestly can't. I just really like wholeheartedly disagree with the people who think it's happening.
In a Mahershala Ali and Swan Song, which is also Apple TV.
I didn't see Swan Song, but Jennifer Lawrence was good in the movie. It wasn't like a showcase. It just wasn't a showcase for her.
What about
I
Jessica
feel like
Chastain?
That I think is. I would put that at number 6, unless someone tells me what's happening with I Want to Dance with Somebody.
I can tell you what's happening with that.
What's happening?
So the word is that we're too late. That's the word.
Really?
That's the rumor. That feels like it would happen if they weren't too late. But also, remember this. Jennifer Hudson, not nominated for Respect last year. We were predicting it.
Ana de Armas, would like to see it. Like to see it. She was great in Blonde despite the movie, you know, being interesting. I'm just going to say interesting because I don't even know how I feel about that movie still to this day.
There is a good case to make for Chastain because she routinely crashes this category. Like, she got nominated for Molly's Game and Miss Sloane. I don't know if The Good Nurse is like that type of thing. You know, again, Olivia Colman also has lots of Golden Globe nominations.
I mean, even A Most Violent Year.
They do like
double
her.
Nominated last year. For TV. Eddie Redmayne and Chastain showed up at the Satellites. So it's not like a movie that doesn't exist and there's no trace of it, you know what I'm saying?
And you know who wasn't nominated at the Satellites? Olivia Colman.
Empire of Light? That's a movie where the fuck is it? You know what I'm saying? Like, where is that movie?
I am convinced it's actually like tight between Jessica Chastain and Olivia Colman.
Yeah. You know what? You're doing top 5 for everything. Be a little interesting. Be a little bit interesting, like
Jesus
the Golden
Christ.
Globes are going to be. The Golden Globes are going to be a little interesting. They are.
Yeah, but also,
and
like,
honestly, here's the other thing. If you're wrong that Chastain doesn't get nominated, you're only going to regret it if it actually is Olivia Colman. But it actually might not be either.
But it could definitely be Olivia Colman because she is Olivia Colman. Comedy musical picture. This is going to be a race between Banshees and Everything Everywhere. It's going to be hard to call because Banshees has a great case that it will win comedy actor and very possibly screenplay.
Yep.
Everything Everywhere, meanwhile, is going to win comedy actress, and Ke Huy Quan will probably win supporting actor, and it could maybe win screenplay. But Banshees has been doing well so far.
I would predict Banshees in screenplay right now.
Yep.
And so maybe I would also predict in a comedy musical picture. Does that mean that it's stronger than Everything Everywhere in general? Not necessarily. Budapest Hotel, if you recall, beat Birdman, which won the Oscar.
The Martian also beat The Big Short, and we know which one
won
close
the
to winning
PGA
Best Picture. But anyway, those two will get nominated. Glass Onion will be nominated. I feel like, in a way, it's more locked in than Babylon, even though I do think Babylon is very likely to be nominated.
Is it a lock? Can you say it's a lock? I don't think you can say it's a lock.
Babylon's getting in, buddy. That has actor and actress potential. It's going to be nominated for score. I mean, the reactions for Babylon are kind of mixed, but there's still a lot of people who really love it. And right now on Letterboxd, it's still riding pretty high. I don't know what number 5 is, and I'm going to need you to help me out. I have 3 movies that I'm considering.
To the fans.
I'm talking to you.
But you need their help.
No matter what they do, they can't influence me.
You don't know that. They can at least believe that they influence what you're doing as they watch the video. It's a better interactive experience.
The Menu, a little bit of a spoiler, but I think it could be a good bet to go with both lead actors in that movie. And so if I have 2 lead actors in that movie, why would I not be predicting it in comedy musical picture? It's like at that point, the leap is not so far.
But have there been instances of that happening where they get lead actor, lead actress, and no?
Yeah, but Triangle of Sadness is the alternate in a way, and I'm not really predicting that in any other categories, although I could do Charles B. Dean, but that's still like a really, really iffy. Triangle of Sadness, that is the bigger Oscar contender.
It also feels like it would play well internationally.
Yes, it does.
But it does have yet to be seen how much people are going to bite Triangle of Sadness.
The other one I'm really fucking tempted to go with is RRR. Here's the thing, though. They just opened up a rule that you can nominate international films in picture. RRR, comedy musical, does it fit the branding? Not really. So I kind of wonder, even if they do like the movie, are they going to be like, oh yeah, I can do that. I can do that. I just don't know.
The Satellites did put it in their comedy musical category.
They did, but the Satellites, I looked, they're not that reliable when it comes to Golden Globe predicting with their comedy musical category.
But somehow it registered for enough people that was a comedy musical. The movie has a few musical numbers. I don't know.
The movie might get song.
Musical.
It could get score and it could get director, and that's the best day scenario. And I kind of earlier today freaked out a little bit because I was like, oh my god, what if RRR gets all these fucking nominations like director and score? But here's the thing. RRR got the NBR, National Board of Review. It made it to their 10. Yep. Now, in a way, it fits their branding because it's like an action movie and they like that kind of shit. But nominating an international film for NBR, that is nearly unheard of outside of literally just Roma. Just Roma.
Wait. They've been around for
Okay,
decades,
I didn't check everything in the 50s and 60s, but they didn't nominate Parasite, Amour, Drive My Car, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Diving Bell and the Butterfly. They don't nominate any of that shit. And RRR got in. RRR has been making a small presence at everything that's happened so far, winning the New York Film Critics Circle for Best Director.
It's been leaving breadcrumbs.
It's been leaving breadcrumbs.
It's in the midst. It's in the air. And I do feel hopeful for RRR, actually.
And, again, you could make the argument that the internationally based committee will be more willing to nominate something like RRR. I also think that RRR could take a little bit longer to cook up, these wins from LA Film Critics and everything, which the Golden Globe voters may not see in time. Those things, I think, won't. Maybe it's still building. So what am I doing here? Am I putting in the menu?
I would say, just because of category fuckery, you probably shouldn't go out on a limb for it. Because they'll just nominate it in international.
A day later, mulling over this, I really feel like I'm between the Menu and RRR. And unfortunately, I can't promise that I'm not going to switch my prediction to RRR over the weekend because there's going to be a lot of critics groups happening right before the Globes. And that's where if I see a lot of RRR momentum happening, I'm going to be like, shit, I think this is really happening. So we'll go with the Menu for now because that was my initial instinct. But if RRR is killing it at these critics groups this weekend, I will probably switch over. And overall, I do think RRR is more likely to be nominated for Best Picture at the Oscars than the Menu. The Menu also released recently and people like it and it made money. Other movies that could technically get it, like Bros could get it, but I just don't think people were taken to that movie. Del Toro's Pinocchio is also a thing where they are now allowed to have animated films nominated, but I just don't know if they caught on to that yet.
And it's also just easy to say, okay, well, that has my vote in this category. And that's the way I've always done things.
You're not going to see me betting big on Ticket to Paradise. A lot of times in the past when people try to predict like Globesy things to happen, they just don't. Like, Johnny Depp's going to get nominated for Into the Woods and supporting actor. Like, no, he didn't. Even last year, we tried to predict Lin-Manuel Miranda and director, and it didn't happen. Comedy actress Michelle Yeoh is going to win the award. Margot Robbie, definitely getting nominated. That's easy. Emma Thompson's going to get nominated for Good Luck to You, Leo Grande. It'd be ridiculous if she didn't.
Good.
And then it's a little wild. It gets a little crazy kooky, okay? On Gold Derby, they think Keke Palmer and Nope. Me and Brother Bro are very confused about this. So Brother Bro goes, I'll just email them. He found the contact for the Golden Globes. He emailed them and asked them if Keke Palmer was in supporting or if she was in comedy musical picture. You know what they said? They said, A, she's in supporting. B, Nope is a drama. This is the first anyone's ever heard of this. Brother Bro has groundbreaking journalistic skills. And so he also went back and emailed and asked about a few other things that were pretty obvious confirmations, like Babylon's a comedy, RRR's a musical. Hustle is a comedy. That was confirmed by Brother Bro as well. I'm going to predict Anya Taylor-Joy for The Menu. It's a thing in a movie that they could do, and it's an actress that they know. So it makes like enough sense. And Leslie Manville, Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris. I thought maybe she could be like Sally Field in Hello, My Name is Doris. And it's like, oh yeah, sure, why not? And then just not get nominated, and that might happen. But people say she's good in the movie, and the movie's apparently a real charmer. I don't know if it's been like campaigned enough where they're like, you know, actually popping in their screeners is the thing. In comedy actress, I'm really between Leslie Manville and Julia Roberts. So initially I thought Ticket to Paradise. This is like Wild Mountain time from last year, and it's not actually going to happen. And it's like a rom-com thing that people think the Golden Globes will go for, but they actually won't. But looking over what the Golden Globes normally do, you know, I think it is a little bit mainstream rom-com-y, and they tend to like to go for like an indie comedy performance like Emma Thompson and Good Luck to You, Leo Grande. So in that way, I'm not sure that Ticket to Paradise fits the bill. It's also really not that acclaimed. But Julia Roberts is a Golden Globes fave. And if you look at this category, a lot of times they will go with their faves. We were really confused about what they were going to do last year. They went with Marion Cotillard. And Leslie Manville, I don't think she has that status of like a Globes icon. And in fact, she's never been nominated for a Golden Globe. So that actually did make me go with Julia Roberts, just kind of remembering, yeah, they do really play to favorites, especially in these comedy categories. Charlie Dean in Triangle of Sadness, not like the most lead performance that there is, really. Definitely an ensemble movie, but I think she was really good in it. I also just want to see Triangle of Sadness have a nice turnout. This is a really interesting category, though. I feel like more so than the other ones, a lot of shit could happen here. We could get some children in here, too. Bella Ramsey for Catherine Called Birdie, that could happen. Could happen. And Alicia Weir for Matilda. We all remember they nominated Quvenzhané Wallis for Annie.
You needn't say more.
Regina Hall for Honk Your Jesus, Save Your Soul. I think that movie was just too small, but she did a lot in it, and she was very good. In comedy actor, Colin Farrell is easily winning. I am starting to think that he could win the Oscar because he's literally has not lost an award yet. And I know that's just critics. We're really going to have to wait until the SAG.
It's not a classically Beatty performance, though.
Yeah, but I think a lot of people are really behind it. You
Yeah.
have Butler and Fraser, who are giving Beatty roles,
ass.
and
Beatty
that's
ass.
usually what wins.
Yeah.
Daniel Craig will be nominated for Glass Onion. He got nominated for the first one. Diego Calva for Babylon. That will probably happen. I think Ray Fiennes in The Menu. Why doesn't Gold Derby think Ray Fiennes in The Menu? That seems pretty obvious to me. I feel like he did a lot.
I would go for him. If this was on my ballot, I would say, sure. There's not that many. Oh, there's some down here. Okay, we got to talk about some of these. You have Tom Hanks in A Man Called Otto, because what have you been hearing? You've been hearing some things.
I heard that they did actually like get to the voters in time. You know, maybe not all of them popped it in, maybe not all of them went. So it probably will be hurt from being a little bit late to the game, but from what I've heard, A Man Called Otto is actually surprisingly good. It's a big-time crowd pleaser. Tom Hanks is actually very good.
You know how little I cared about that movie, like from hearing about it? I didn't even watch I watched like 30 seconds of the trailer. That's worse than not watching the trailer.
Yeah. Well, people say Tom Hanks is great in it, and I feel like it makes a lot of sense for him to be nominated here,
Yeah, yeah, keep him in. I actually like your 5, but I'm going to ask you, what about Daniel Radcliffe in Weird Al? And is that because it's Roku that you don't think it's getting nominated?
It's not just because it's Roku, but like it's not like he portrayed Weird Al. He just like did a weird miscast thing in a funny way. Like, and I don't know if that movie is being taken seriously.
Adam Sandler and Hustle, that's not a comedy.
It's enough of a comedy. There's been mixed reports about whether he's in comedy or drama. If he was in drama, he would also have a shot because of how slim that category is. I'm not going to gamble if the guy is like teetering and we don't know where he's at, because he might just get none of them. Billy Eichner and Bros, I think, is the true number 6.
He feels like he should be a lock to happen. When I saw the movie, I was like, easily going to make it into Golden Globe comedy category. And yet, Bros did such a painful belly flop. We all went, ooh, like, you know, no one wants to talk to the guy whose torso is lit up in red after he just embarrassed himself in front of everybody. Bros is still one of my favorite movies of the year, and I just don't understand it, and I really still hope that he is nominated at least.
And his movie's not getting nominated, and
No,
also,
the
if we
movie's
recall,
out.
it feels like when Chris Rock didn't get nominated for top 5. That was like a critically acclaimed movie. It didn't really make the splash that it felt like it could have, and it was like, you know, his movie. He wrote it, he acted in it, and he was expected to get nominated. He didn't for that.
Adam Driver could be nominated for White Noise because they are campaigning hard. Like, this motherfucker got a huge ass book from White Noise with like all the production design
and a
shit,
sweater,
which is actually kind of a cool sweater, and they're making sure that people see the movie,
and it's not working.
And it doesn't make sense because this movie doesn't have really a good shot for any nominations at the Oscars.
This movie's not even getting nominated for song anywhere. It hasn't gotten shit so far. Nobody likes it.
But if people are still seeing it, I wonder, like, Globes, do they do him?
They didn't even nominate the guy for Annette. He was so fucking good at Annette. George Clooney, Ticket to Paradise, a possibility. Daryl McCormack for Good Luck to You, Lou Grand. I think he's just not big enough, but like, I don't know, his co-star is getting nominated, like he would deserve it. What if Christian Bale in Amsterdam is a
oh
thought I
my
had,
god, no. You're thinking of like
not.
when they nominated Smile.
What? Smile?
Smile.
No.
What's
Music.
the name? Oh yeah, you're thinking of when they nominated Music.
I'm not thinking of when they nominated Music.
I like how I thought that movie was called Smile. I would like to see Harris Dickinson nominated. He was really good in Triangle of Sadness.
Director, Steven Spielberg for The Fabelmans. That actually seems like he really would win. Like, Golden Globes liking to play to their favorites. They always nominate Spielberg.
I'm gonna disagree that Daniels are number 2. You need to put Sarah Polley at number 2, and then from there, I don't know where Daniels are. I don't know if they're above or below McDonough.
Women Talking is just not as big of a contender as Everything Everywhere. So why would it be number 2 over Daniels? I agree
because they're definitely gonna nominate Sarah Polley. They have been nominating multiple women for the past few years,
and yet some people
where the Oscars do not.
And some people think they're gonna nominate Gina Prince Bythewood and not Sarah Polley.
I don't see how The Woman King would make it over Sarah Polley.
They've been nominating women in the past 2 years, but that's really it. It's a 2-year streak.
Yeah, that's not a streak.
Nominees.
I actually think we can't call that a streak, but I still think Sarah Polley will get nominated for Women Talking.
And also, 2 of the women that they nominated were Regina King and Maggie Gyllenhaal. So clearly, they like nominating actor turned directors. Like, I don't think that they were nominating women just to nominate women. I think they like nominating actor directors. I think that's what happened.
I'm a little worried about Daniels.
I'm not worried about Daniels.
I'm glad to hear you say that.
Daniels have been doing very well. People have been recognizing them as directors. They won the Atlanta Film Critics.
They haven't been doing like exceptionally well. Like, Spielberg has been nominated everywhere, and they haven't.
What?
Yeah.
Yes, they have.
The satellites.
Who gives a fuck about the satellites?
Well, they should
care
do
a
it.
bit. Daniels are big, and Everything Everywhere is the sensation of the season. They nominated Wes Anderson for Grand Budapest Hotel when no one thought that was happening.
That's true.
They nominated Emerald Fennell when people were like, I'm not sure if that's happening.
Well, people actually think the Daniels are happening, though. If you go on Gold Derby, they are number 3.
I know. 'Cause they're happening, and they would happen even if people didn't think they were happening. So they're happening. So
I still think Everything Everywhere is actually going to win.
Would you like to know a statistic that's very strong for Best Picture winners that got broken last year but persisted for quite a while before that? It's movies that winning Best Picture getting nominated for director and screenplay at the Golden Globes. So we're going to put Daniels in director and screenplay,
So we're going to do that for Spielberg as well.
Yeah, and Sarah Polley and Martin McDonough.
Director is never like that easy at Globes. There's always something weird. What if Baz Luhrmann starts catching on, and then he gets the Oscar nomination and the DGA and all that, and we're like, oh, well, no shit, that's gonna happen, and no shit.
No, it's not gonna be no shit, and he's not gonna get the Oscar nomination, even if he got DGA. I was thinking about Martin McDonough and Todd Field. Who's exchangeable? Well, Martin McDonough's probably gonna win the screenplay maybe, and his movie is more likely to win top prize. Todd Field, I think he's actually the exchangeable one in director,
which I wouldn't worry about like, in terms of the Oscar, he's definitely going to get nominated for the
I
Oscar.
agree.
I just don't see it.
Like Yorgos Lanthimos.
He would have to literally get snubbed everywhere in order for the Oscars to snub him, just like Noah Baumbach from Marriage Story. That's how bad it would have to get.
But Baz Luhrmann, like, I did almost have him in at one point.
I've been putting him in and out. I've been taking him in and out.
The reason that I have him out is because I feel like it's too trying to predict a Golden Globes thing.
We're talking about the people who thought Bohemian Rhapsody was the best drama of the year.
And that didn't get nominated.
And
director.
Elvis is a lot like that movie. It's a lot like that movie.
I'm also really considering James Cameron.
Yeah.
The reactions so far have been really good. In director, as I mentioned in picture, I sort of came around to thinking, okay, I do think Avatar is going to be properly campaigned to everybody. So I am going for it in director. It's a little bit weird to say this is the only nomination. Maybe it gets song. Maybe it gets picture. But I feel like I don't want to bet too heavily on it.
I also have been flirting with Rajmouli.
I was flirting. I told you that. When NBR happened and I looked up how staggering it was, the fact that they nominated this thing for Best Picture, I thought, this movie might be happening. And if this movie's happening, I could see it getting like director's score at the Golden Globes or something.
That one, if it gets this one nomination though, that's like a big fucking deal. That could trigger a domino effect that goes to the Critics' Choice. They nominate that for picture director there. And then it goes all the way through the Oscars. And at this point, just a lot of people have seen it. The word of mouth is pretty insane. And also, it's one of those things that there isn't a perfect example. You can't say like, oh, this is just like X movie. No, this is not really like anything we've seen before. We don't often see blockbuster international films being nominated at the Oscars, especially if they're like action movies. We just don't see that in a Bollywood film or a Tollywood film. We have never seen that ever. There's not a precedent for it, which means that you should neither count it out nor underestimate it. I actually am going to say, I'm going to make a suggestion for you, and I think you're going to do it. I'm going to say put Joseph Kosinski at number 9. It's not that hard. It's not that much.
Well, I thought about that,
I think you should put Joseph Kosinski at number 9.
The point that's been made before about, like, you know, Tom Cruise being the true, like, author of the movie, I think stands pretty true about
agree.
Top Gun Maverick.
I agree.
And I don't think Damien Chazelle is impossible. And I also don't think Gina Prince Bythewood's impossible. Like, that still makes a little bit of sense to me. I mean, I agree Kosinski could happen. I think it's something I'm watching out for, but he seems a little bit more DGA to me. It could go a lot of interesting ways, and it could go a lot of terrible ways. Like, Baz Luhrmann getting nominated for Elvis would not be a fun way to go. It would be a Scream way to go. Gold Derby doesn't think this is the 5, by the way. Oh, they still have Chazelle.
Well, that's probably like a legacy thing.
That's going to go down, actually, yeah. James Cameron and Baz Luhrmann are next in line, and then Gina Prince Bythewood. So I guess not that many people think
McDonough is beating Daniels. Daniels just went boop. They went from number 3 to number 4. Do you realize that? I'm a little scared about them getting nominated here.
I'm not scared. Supporting actress, Claire Foy, Women Talking. I'm sorry that Jessie Buckley hasn't been getting as many nominations as her, because I watched that movie again. Love that movie. That's the performance of the movie, if not Rooney Mara. And then maybe Claire Foy, but also tied with other people for me. I'm just a little dismayed that she seems to be stealing steam from Jessie Buckley. And when you look at Women Talking, they have Claire Foy listed as their top priority, or like number 1 under supporting actress. And this is not the first time this is happening in this very category, because Jamie Lee Curtis is also listed as the priority above Stephanie Sue. And if it were up to me, that would not happen. And in fact, I'm a little scared that both the Women Talking will not make it into the lineup. Last year, both Belfast Boys made it in, and then later we found out that Jamie Dornan was dropping. But then there's the instance of Spotlight, where both Spotlight boys missed the Golden Globe. So it can be tough to know what's going on. I feel like they could both, go in lockstep. I feel like they could be like The Favorite or The Irishman, and they're just there all the way. But it's going to be hard to tell what's really going on with these two. But I've been more convinced that Claire Foy is the one, if there is one. Janelle Monáe won the Atlanta Film Critics Award, and it was like, okay, cool. Like, you're trying to hype up Janelle Monáe. Like, this is a mysterious category where we don't know what's going on. You're trying to hype her up. That's cool. Then National Board of Review goes Janelle Monáe. So we've had like 3 awards so far. Janelle Monáe has won 2 of them. No one else that's like reasonably in contention has won shit so far. Keke Palmer won a supporting actress from New York Film Critics. That's cool. Katherine Hunter won last year. I think Janelle Monáe might be being pushed hard by Netflix. And this reminds me of Maria Bakalova for Borat. Whether or not that movie gets Best Picture, You know, it's got adapted screenplay in there. And then there's like, wow, actually Janelle Monáe. The fact that she's won 2 awards so far in this very short period of time, I don't think that's going to be an isolated thing. I think this could be a thing that you have to start predicting. Like SAG, Golden Globe, Critics' Choice.
I'm not really sure what to make of Janelle Monáe yet.
Carrie Condon will be nominated. And then Jamie Lee Curtis. I feel like you kind of got to have Jamie Lee Curtis in for the Golden Globes. She's been nominated quite a lot. However, she's never been nominated in a drama category or a supporting category. She's only been nominated in TV and comedy categories, so it's a little bit of a different ballgame. Jamie Lee Curtis is a thing that kind of is real. I thought that, you know, her just saying, I want the award.
She just manifested it.
At the expense of Stephanie Sue. But I honestly don't think Stephanie Sue would have gotten this nomination anyway.
I don't know if she gets nominated, but I do feel more confident that she appears than Stephanie Sue.
And what about Hong Chow? If The Whale only gets Brendan Fraser, that's fucking weak.
Yeah, it's weak.
And I am a little worried that Hong Chow could miss here. Little, like,
sort of
restrained performance in an indie A24 movie. I mean, Yo Jung Yoon wasn't even fucking nominated at the Golden Globes, and she won the Oscar. I'm just a little more convinced by Jamie Lee Curtis. Supporting actor, Ke Huy Quan. The guy's sweeping. The guy is sweeping.
You know it. I know it.
He's not going to stop. He's this year's Troy Kotsur or Yo Jung Yoon, whatever you want to say. That's what he is. Brendan Gleeson, Banshees, he's just going to get nominated everywhere. Ben Whishaw, Women Talking. Not a lot, but I think could be solid.
Both Fabelman's Boys is interesting. I guess I don't know who else to nominate.
So putting them both in feels...
But they might like both go along for the ride until like one of them just disappears, kind of like Belfast.
Or, you know, none of them, because I don't think any of them are going to be totally locked in.
I can't tell who out of Paul Dano or Judd Hirsch is more likely also to get nominated.
I am a little worried about Eddie Redmayne and The Good Nurse.
Yeah.
I think that could happen. And, you know, him and Chastain, there's potential for them both to get nominated here. I'm increasingly thinking that this could be an Eddie Redmayne. I could go for both Fabelman's Boys and kind of guarantee that I get one of them if one of them gets in, because it's a little ambiguous as to who it is. But also, like, Eddie Redmayne is doing a little campaigning. And I thought, oh, this is just like a thing people think will happen, but it won't. But maybe it is a thing people will think will happen and happens. So I am going to squeeze Eddie Redmayne in there. And over Judd Hirsch, kind of just because the consensus is that it's going to be Paul Dano for the Globes. I'm not really sure why that's the consensus, but we're just going to go with that for now.
And you don't think Barry Kogan's going to get nominated despite being very confident that he's getting the Oscar?
It feels like the kind of thing that needs to take a little while to warm up, and maybe that's only because I'm thinking of Woody Harrelson in 3 Billboards and how that took a little while.
I still agree.
Brad Pitt for Babylon. I don't know if Babylon's going to get like 3 acting nominations at the Golden Globes. I don't know if it's like that strong. There's also the Angelina Jolie thing. And then there's Tom Hanks for Elvis, which a lot of people are very scared about. And a lot of people think are going to try to predict that. I could buy that it's more of a thing if the movie came out later and people didn't know if it was like the wrong thing to do yet. But like the movie's been out for so long that people know that it's the wrong thing to do. And I think even people who love Elvis, like how many of them are saying that Tom Hanks was so fucking good in that he needs to be nominated? I feel like most of them acknowledge, like, yeah, it's a little bit of a silly performance. And I get it. It's like one of those, like, Globesy things I could see them doing, but
I can't really see it. It's something that's going to take off.
You can say that they do Globesy things, however, you know, much you want to say that, but then go look at, like, the things that they nominate year by year, and a lot of times they're just pretty normal and in line with what the Oscars do. In Screenplay, Banshees has been doing extremely well. With critics groups so far, it's been winning all the Screenplay awards. Not even Everything Everywhere has been winning. Even in places that Everything Everywhere has won, it's not winning the Screenplay awards.
I wish Everything Everywhere was winning, though.
I mean, Banshees, I will say, like, I think it has maybe the best dialogue of the year. He won this award for 3 Billboards. In addition, they've given it to Tarantino 3 times. Do you think that's similar? Liking McDonough and liking Tarantino and the dialogue and everything?
Kind of.
They give it to very righty screenplay movies.
I actually think it's going to win.
Yeah, and I don't think The Fabelmans is going to win this award at all, because they can just give that director and call it a day. And Women Talking also will definitely get nominated just because it's an incredible script, layered, dialogue heavy. Like, that's just everything you need to get nominated there. And then Tar, which is also a really, really well-crafted script. And I think it's weird that Gold Derby thinks Glass Onion's getting nominated. Yep. Why?
I agree.
Why? Knives Out didn't get nominated. Why do you need more information than that?
I agree. Tar is very strong for screenplay. All 5 of these are very strong. I really do think we might just go 5 out of 5 here.
Like, if you think Glass Onion's getting nominated, then you think it's, like, significantly stronger than Knives Out. Triangle of Sadness, Babylon, I mean, I feel like it's a steep drop-off. You know, it gets pretty steep when you get past number 6. In score, this is a little bit tough. The top 3, I feel totally fine with. Babylon, Women Talking, you know, that's a no-brainer. That's locked in to get nominated. And Pinocchio, which is just Splot. So those 3 are like good to go, easy. And then it's a little bit of a mystery because The Fabelmans, many people will tell you that The Fabelmans is locked in for score, and I don't believe you. There just wasn't a ton of score, and it's very gentle, and it's good when it's on, but it's not that prominent. They did nominate him for The Post, which I would say, you know, The Post wasn't his most notable score. They still did nominate him for The Post, and I do feel like they could kind of name check John Williams. As far as Spielberg collaborations go, like, you're pretty sure thing to get John Williams going along with it.
Well, to the Globe's credit, they really do their own thing in score, and I actually think they make a lot of good decisions. So I could see the Batman being here. That's been performing well with critics groups so far. And you feel confident about that, so I'm just gonna let you have
feels like
it.
Tenet. It feels like how
Yeah.
Tenet got in, and, you know, maybe it takes a turn for the worse later on, but right now I think it can be riding high, and it seems like the kind of thing they would go for. But I'm tempted by a few things. I'm tempted by The Woman King. It just feels like that could happen. They only nominated him for 25th Hour, that's it.
Oh, they didn't nominate him for Five Bloods?
No. But it still feels like a thing they could do to me. And people have been going out for The Woman King in score. Even though I don't understand it, that is what I'm seeing. Banshees of Inisherin could happen. 3 Billboards did get nominated here. So that's like definitely possible. But I could see that being the kind of thing that misses a couple steps along the way to the Oscar, but ends up getting the Oscar. But, you know, again, if 3 Billboards got it, why shouldn't this? I thought this was even better. And then 8 is RRR because I was kind of like, damn, you know, sometimes they do weird shit in score. Like, remember last year, they nominated Encanto and Parallel Mothers. They both got the Oscar nom, but how weird was it at the time when both those showed up? They nominated All Is Lost, Motherless Brooklyn.
Steve Jobs.
If it does happen, I will hoot and cheer because that will be great. I will love it. But it's hard to be convinced on something like that. I don't really think Empire of Light. She Said meh. Top Gun, I don't know. The Way of Water, the score was okay.
Nope could be a weird one that they do. That
Yeah.
they're doing.
For song, I was wondering, you know how like Hold My Hand was number 1 for a long time, and then when Lift Me Up came out, everyone was like, oh my god, this is the new number 1. What if it's like last year where No Time to Die was like the no-brainer number 1 for a long time, and then Beyonce comes out with a song and everyone's like, oh my god, Beyonce's gonna win. But then they're like, oh, oops, no, it's actually just Lady Gaga. I feel like she could be more of a Globe's favorite. I mean, they're both famous, but Lady Gaga, you know, she's dipped many toes, feet, even she's went all the way in the pool in the world of film. And then at number 3, I have Nobody Like You from Turning Red. Don't have this predicted for the Oscar, but this is Phineas and Billie Eilish getting the credit here. The Golden Globes like to see big names in the credits for the songs. And this is also generally a song people think is getting nominated, so I feel like it can be an okay bet for the Globe. And Vegas from Elvis. This is Doja Cat. Elvis will probably do generally well. Like, I think this actually is working its way up in the song category in general, but I think we will see it here. And then I have Natu Natu from RRR. You know, at the minimum, they should be embracing it in this category. And I think the push for that song is absolutely real. I have not seen much going on for New Body Roomba from White Noise, so I'm not really confident in that anymore. Carolina from Where the Crawdads Sing, you know, that's Taylor Swift, so they could pull that. They could work her in there for sure. They nominated her for fucking Cats, okay? But Stand Up from Till, I have like a weird feeling about it. It fits the brand of the type of song that they like to nominate. Like every last song from every civil rights, like 1960s movie. This is from Jasmine Sullivan, who's like not the most well known. And I feel like if Danielle Deadweiler sang the song, it would get nominated. Like Billie Holiday, that song got nominated, and like the song from Harriet got nominated because Cynthia Erivo sang it, and Jennifer Hudson got a song nominated from Respect. I'm telling you, like, in a way, this really feels on brand for them. Feels similar to a lot of stuff that they've done.
You mean a lot of stuff whose name is also Stand Up?
Like, literally songs that have been called Stand Up in the past, or are called, like, We Will Speak, you know, that kind of thing. Nothing is Lost from The Way of Water is The Weeknd, but as somebody who sat in the theater and listened to the song Until I Left because I didn't give a shit, I can tell you that the song's not really that good, but they might not care. They might just be like, oh, let's nominate The Weeknd because he's The Weeknd and he's huge. Ciao Papa from Pinocchio, you know, maybe, perhaps. I feel like that's a little bit more likely for something like the Oscar. I don't know if they would go out on a limb for Diane Warren. They only nominated her once in the past decade, whereas the Oscars nominate her like all the fucking time. Animated feature, Pinocchio winning, Turning Red getting nominated. Marcel the Shell is looking pretty good. The critics are going out for it.
And also, we've had a lot of animated films drop. Lightyear is just gone. Gets considered a failure. And Strange World is kind of gone too. Where's Strange World? Like,
Strange World
it
flopped.
came and went, and then it flopped. Critics didn't even like it that much.
I think people are not ready for the shakeup that is this category, because people are holding on to certain things that are dead. Like, I think My Father's Dragon and Strange World, like, I'm not convinced by them.
I don't know what My Father's Dragon, like, is.
It's Cartoon Saloon. They've gotten 4 movies nominated
why
for the
not?
Oscar because it's just not, like, making the splash that their other movies got. It just seems like people are less excited than they usually are about their films, especially after Wolfwalkers. This is just not, like, getting that kind of buzz.
Wendell and Wild's still possible. You know, it stands out being a Henry Selick movie, but Pinocchio is also the stop-motion film of the year. And I think Pinocchio is more impressive, too.
I think Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, like, with the reviews that's been getting, Letterboxd is like a 3.9. I think it's a little overhyped, but, like, the hype is there for Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, and the animation is interesting. I think that one's gaining more momentum than people are, like, paying attention to. And also, the Golden Globes are more likely to nominate these mainstream, like, DreamWorks type of movies. And I don't know if it's weird that I have 2 DreamWorks movies. The Bad Guys also, pretty acclaimed movie, acclaimed enough to get in at the Golden Globes, I think. And a movie that doesn't have, like, the problems of Strange World, where it's just, like, this flop. Like, it has better reviews than that. International feature, I have RRR winning because of the way that that's taking off lately. I could see it getting into song, maybe more.
Yeah, I think RRR in a way is like the most likely film that could hit a stride with awards. Although Decision to Leave could also. All Quiet on the Western Front feels more dead than I thought it would.
Yeah.
I don't even think it's going to get like cinematography, but I guess we'll see what the Critics' Choice do if they choose to nominate that in outside categories. I feel like Close is stronger than Broker.
Actually, wait, weirdly, yeah, wait, hold on. Okay, why hasn't Broker gotten anything yet?
I was going to say Broker is good, but Broker is like not incredible.
Broker didn't get anything.
It might not get nominated.
Because I'm looking at my tally right now. It hasn't been nominated so far, and there's only been a couple places, but do you think I should put Bardo in instead of Broker? Actually, yeah, let's do it. EO's is too experimental. I just don't think it's like a lock for the Oscar. And I guess last year I was like, oh, Drive My Car, that's a little too slow burn for everybody, and clearly not. But EO's just like about a donkey and it has like weird filmmaking. Critics are liking it. It's actually making a lot of top 10s for some reason. But that movie and St. Omer, I feel like they're more like critics are going to be digging them, but I don't know about the televised awards or whatever. And those are our Golden Globes predictions. You can obviously expect us to react and freak out about these nominations on the morning of Golden Globes. It's coming up very soon. It's reaction season, folks.
And, you know, if you check the description, you can give this guy a little tip. You can buy him a coffee a month, or actually half of a coffee a month on Patreon.
Coffee's not $6.
Coffee is $6 with tip.
Not if you get
Coffee is $6 with tip.
I don't get coffee that much. I'd rather get an espresso shot.
Well, you can buy this guy an espresso shot.
You can buy me 6 lemons.
The more support he has, the more content he can afford to make.
And we're making content for the Patreon. We got multiple movie reviews on there. We got multiple Q&As. Unlock all of that for just $3 a month.
You just get your parents' credit card, you know? Your parents won't know. Tell them it's $3 for hurricane relief.
There are a lot of people who you could be giving the money to, but I'm one of them, and I provide you great service.
Who's to say which is more valuable? Who's to say?
Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing.
Are you polishing your Golden Globe for the Golden Globes?